Luke 12. Fear God. Reject hypocrisy. Seek the kingdom. Stay watchful. Yehovah. Cleanse us from hidden hypocrisy and divided motives. Train our fear so it is aimed at you, never at people. Make us watchful, faithful servants until Messiah's appearing. Yehovah Ori. Yehovah is our light and salvation. He drives out fear and steadies the heart in truth. Psalm 27, verse 1. Yehovah Ori. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Holy, holy, holy. Please fill me and lead me and cover me and stir me and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity, echad, with himself, and you shall act upon your love, ahava, to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts and mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod-He-Vav-He. Hand, behold, now, behold. Luke chapter 12. Meanwhile, as a crowd in the tens of thousands gathered so closely as to trample each other down, Yeshua, the Aleph and the Tav, began to say to his Talmudim first, guard yourselves from the hamats of the Prushim, by which I mean their hypocrisy. There is nothing covered up that will not be uncovered, or hidden that will not become known. What you have spoken in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered behind closed doors will be proclaimed on the housetops. My friends, I tell you, don't fear those who can kill the body, but then have nothing more they can do. I will show you whom to fear. Fear him who, after killing you, has authority to throw you into Gehenna. Yes, I tell you, this is the one to fear. Aren't sparrows sold for next to nothing? 5 for 2 Assyrians? And not one of them has been forgotten by God. Why? Every hair on your head has been counted. Don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Moreover, I tell you, whoever acknowledges me in the presence of others, the Son of Man will also acknowledge in the presence of God's angels. But whoever disowns me before others will be disowned before God's angels. Also, everyone who says something against the Son of Man will have it forgiven him. But whoever has blasphemed the Ruach HaKodesh will not be forgiven. When they bring you before the synagogues and the ruling powers and the authorities, don't worry about how you will defend yourselves or what you will say, because when the time comes, the Ruach HaKodesh will teach you what you need to say. Someone in the crowd said to him, Rabbi, tell my brother to share with me the property we inherited. But Yeshua, the Aleph and the Tav, answered him, my friend, who appointed me judge or arbiter over you? Then to the people he said, be careful to guard against all forms of greed, because even if someone is rich, his life does not consist in what he owns. And he gave them this illustration. There was a man whose land was very productive. He debated with himself, what should I do? I haven't enough room for all my crops. Then he said, this is what I will do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and I'll store all the wheat, all my wheat, and other goods there. Then I'll say to myself, you're a lucky man. You have a big supply of goods laid up that will last many years. Start taking it easy. Eat, drink, enjoy yourself. But God said to him, you fool, this very night you will die. And all the things you prepared, whose will they be? That's how it will be with anyone who stores up wealth for himself without being rich toward God. To his Talmudim disciples, Yeshua, the Aleph Tav, said, because of this I tell you, don't worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. For life is more than food, and the body is more than clothing. Think about the ravens. They neither plant nor harvest. They have neither storerooms nor barns. yet God feeds them. You are worth much more than the birds. Can any of you, by worrying, add an hour to his life? If you can't do a little thing like that, why worry about the rest? Think about the wild irises and how they grow. They neither work nor spin thread, yet I tell you, not even Shlomo, in all his glory, was clothed as beautiful as one of these. If this is how God clothes the grass, which is alive in the field today and thrown into the oven tomorrow, how much more will he clothe you? What little trust you have. In other words, don't strive after what you will eat and what you will drink. Don't be anxious. For all the pagan nations in the world set their hearts on these things. Your Father knows that you need them too. Rather, seek his kingdom, and these things will be given to you as well. Have no fear, little flock, for your Father has resolved to give you the kingdom. Sell what you own and do tzedakah. Make for yourself purses that don't wear out, riches in heaven that never fail, where no burglar comes near, where no moth destroys. For where your wealth is, there your heart will be also. Be dressed for action and have your lamp lit, like people waiting for their master's return after a wedding feast, so that when he comes and knocks, they will open the door for him without delay. Happy are the slaves whom the master finds alert when he comes. Yes, I tell you, he will put on his work clothes, seat them at the table, and come serve them himself, whether it is late or night or early in the morning. If this is how he finds them, those slaves are happy. But notice this: no house owner would let his house be broken into if he knew the thief was coming. You too, be ready, for the Son of Man will come when you are not expecting him. Kepha said, Sir, are you telling this parable for our benefit only or for everyone's? The master replied, Who is the faithful and wise manager whose master puts him in charge of the household staff to give them their share of the food at the proper time? It will go well with that servant if he is found doing his job when his master comes. Yes, I tell you, he will put him in charge of all he owns. But if that servant says to himself, My master is taking his time coming, and starts bullying the men and women servants, and eating and drinking and getting drunk, then his master will come on a day when the servant isn't expecting him, at a time he doesn't know in advance. His master will cut him in two and put him with the disloyal. Now the servant who knew what his master wanted but didn't prepare or act according to his will be whipped with many lashes. However, the one who did what deserves a beating but didn't know, he receives few lashes. From him who has been given much, much will be demanded. From someone to whom people entrust much, they ask still more. I have come to set fire to earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. I have an immersion to undergo. How pressured I feel till it's over. Do you think that I have come to bring peace in the land? Not peace, I tell you, but division. For from now on, a household of 5 will be divided 3 against 2, 2 against 3. Father will be divided against son, and son against father. Mother against daughter, and daughter against mother. Mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Then to the crowds, Yeshua, the Aleph and Tav, said, When you see a cloud bank rising in the west, at once you say that a rainstorm is coming. And when the wind is from the south, you say there will be heat wave, and there is. Hypocrites! You know how to interpret the appearances of the earth and the sky. How is it that you don't know how to interpret this present time? Why don't you decide for yourselves what is the right course to follow? If someone brings a lawsuit against you, take pains to settle with him first. Otherwise, he will take the matter to the court, and the judge will turn you over to the bailiff, and the bailiff will throw you in jail. I tell you, I won't get out of there till you have paid. I tell you, you won't get out of there until you paid the last penny. What is the Hebrew word that encapsulates this chapter? Yirah, reverent fear. holy awe that produces obedience, especially when pressured by people. Tanakh spine. Households divided by truth. Micah 7 verse 6, the prophet foretells fracture inside families. Luke 12 shows that allegiance to truth can expose division even amongst closest bonds. Chapter flow. Yeshua warns against the leaven of hypocrisy. What is hidden will be revealed. He commands us to fear God, not man, and to confess Messiah openly. He exposes spiritual deflection and warns against hard-hearted resistance of the Spirit. He rejects being used as a financial referee and confronts greed at the root. The rich fool reveals how wealth can become self-worship and sudden loss. Yeshua forbids anxious striving and calls us to seek the kingdom first. He commands readiness, lamps lit, servants alert, hearts unentangled. He declares that his truth brings conflict and division, not surface peace. He rebukes spiritual dullness, discern the times, and reconcile when there is a time. Core theme, Luke 12. Luke 12 is a diagnostic chapter. It exposes what rules us: fear of man, greed, anxiety, hypocrisy, and replaces it with a kingdom life marked by reverent fear of God, generous detachment, and watchful readiness for Messiah. How can we learn to love Yehovah with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength? We can love Yehovah by fearing him above people, obeying truth even when it costs reputation. Love Yehovah by rejecting hypocrisy, letting inner integrity match outward confession. Love Yehovah by seeking his kingdom first, refusing anxiety-driven control. How can we love our neighbors as we love ourselves and as Yeshua loves us? We speak truth without hiding, so others are not lulled by our performance. We practice generosity that reveals real burdens instead of hoarding for self-security. We reconcile quickly, refusing to let pride turn conflict into spiritual damage. How can we bear one another's burdens? We steady anxious hearts with truth, prayer, and practical support rather than pressure. We help households under strain endure faithfully, especially when truth creates tension. We walk with repentant people into readiness, helping them rebuild habits and watchfulness. What are the top 3 fruits of the Spirit found in this chapter? 1. Self-control. Rasun. We resist greed, panic, and performative religion through disciplined obedience. 2. Faithfulness. Emunah. We stay loyal under pressure, confessing Messiah without retreat. 3. Courage. Ometz. We choose truth over comfort when division and criticism rise. What is the Mitzvah response, Torah-Based? Fear Yehovah your God, and him you shall serve. Reference Deuteronomy 6 verse 13. Command. We will fear Yehovah above all and serve him with undivided loyalty. How can we find Yeshua in Torah and prophets? Yeshua embodies Yehovah's light, exposing generosity, exposing hypocrisy, and calling for inward truth, not outward theater. Micah's household fracture becomes visible. Messiah's truth separates allegiance and reveals hearts. The warning against greed and anxiety matches Torah's demand for trust and covenant faithfulness. Watchfulness language sets Messiah as the returning master, requiring readiness, not spiritual sleep. Hebrew declaration, Yehovah, tahar et libenu, mitzviot, miyirat, Adam, tenlehu, yirah, tihora, mi panicha, li lamdanu, li vechish, et melchut ka, ut lichit chuna, lavo mi shichechi. Yehovah, cleanse our hearts from hypocrisy and fear of man. Keep us pure, give us pure fear before you, and teach us to seek your kingdom and prepare for Messiah's coming. What is the one-sentence summary? Fear God, not man. seek his kingdom. Stay ready for Messiah. Now, after having read the chapter and going over it, here are some heart-piercing questions. Where are we performing righteousness while hiding disobedience in secret? Another. What fear of people is currently controlling our speech or decisions? Another. Where is greed disguising itself as wisdom or planning in us? Another. What anxiety reveals we are seeking control instead of the kingdom? Another. What readiness habit must we rebuild? Prayer, obedience, simplicity, generosity? Another. Where is truth causing division in our relationships? And how will we stand firm in love? Lastly, what symbol of unbelief is showing up in our choices, and how will we turn? We'll end with the Aaronic blessing using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you, set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shalom, shalom.